claims leadership in fighting for slowing development. President Yoweri Museveni has attributed persistent divisions among Busoga leaders to the regional slow development, warning that the conflicts have ordinary people trapped in poverty. Speaking at a meeting with the National Resistance Movement NRM flag bearers at Iganga Secondary School in Bulamaji Sub-County during the weekend, Museveni said internal disputes were behind the absence of State Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development Persis Namuganza. Because of the divisions in Busoga, even Namuganza is not here, yet he was one who recommended that this meeting should be scheduled. As we come to the second last news, Jinja revaps waste management after reclaiming illegally occupied landfill. Jinja City has approved garbage collection and sanitation after reclaiming a landfilling previously encroached upon by residents, City Mayor Peter Kasolo said. The 13-acre Masses site, which had long served as dumping ground, was given to investor Goodwill Agencies in exchange for 12 acres in Busima village under land swap deal with the defect Jinja Municipal Council. Mother arrested, son on the run over hacking man to death in Chisoro. A 50-year-old woman, Dusabe Anostia, has been arrested in Chisoro district in connection with the brutal murder of her husband, Joram Hashifamana, 56. Police are also hunting for her son, Richard Iraguha, in relation to the incident. The murder reportedly took place on January 9, 2026 at around 10:30 p.m. in Genocide Cell, Kananura Central Ward, Mupak Town Council. Preliminary investigations suggest a long-standing domestic dispute over a piece of land gifted to the couple's daughter-in-law was the motive behind the murder. With this makes the end of the local news, and we come to the international news. In international news, one person has died and 300 people have been destroyed in bushfires that have torn across southeast Australia. The fires have raged in dozens of locations across the country for several days, mostly in the states of Victoria, but also in New South Wales, burning through land almost twice the size of Greater London. A state of emergency had been declared in Victoria as thousands of firefighters and more than 70 aircraft battle the blaze. Residents in more than a dozen communities have been advised to leave their homes. Authorities fear the fires, which are being fueled by very hot, dry and windy conditions, could burn for several weeks. As we leave London, we come to Iran, where Iran has warned it will retaliate if US attacks as protests defy crackdown. Iran has warned it will retaliate if attacked by the US as protesters defied a deadly government crackdown on Saturday night. Videos verified by the BBC and eyewitness accounts appeared to show the government ramping up its response to the protests, which have spread to more than 100 cities and towns across every province in Iran. Medics at 2 hospitals have told that the BBC that more than 100 bodies had been brought in over a 2-day period. The nationwide death toll is feared to be far higher. The US has threatened to strike Iran over the killing of protesters. Iran's parliamentary speaker warned that if the US attacked, Israel, along with the US military and shipping centers in the region, would become illegitimate to targets. In more news, as take to Isman Uzaidi, bride and groom killed by gas explosion day after Pakistan wedding. A new remarried couple were killed when a gas cylinder exploded at a house in Islamabad where they were sleeping after their wedding party, police have said. A further 6 people, including wedding guests and family members who were staying there, also died in a blast. More than a dozen people were injured. The explosion took place at 07 hours local time, 02 GMT on Sunday, causing the roof to collapse. Parts of the walls were blown away, leaving piles of bricks, large concrete slabs, and furniture strewn across the floor. Injured people were trapped under the rubble and they had to be carried out on stretchers by rescue workers. As we come to the end of the international news, Trump tells Cuba to make a deal before it is too late. Donald Trump has urged Cuba to make a deal or face consequences, warning that the flow of Venezuela oil and money would now stop. The U.S. president had been turning his attention to Cuba since U.S. forces seized Venezuela's leader Nicolas Maduro in a sad general raid on its capital, Caracas. Venezuela, a long-standing ally of Cuba, is believed to send around 350,000 barrels of oil a day to the island. Cuba's foreign ministry responded by saying his national retained the right to import fuel without interference, while its president said no one detects what we do. In more news, I had no electricity for 6 months. American families struggle with soaring energy prices. Chris Hallowell had just lost her job when her energy bill unexpectedly trapped a $180,000 a month. Unable to pay, her gas and electricity were cut off, and she and her 2 children and her mother spent 6 months of last year relying on a generator to light and heat their house. A 44-year-old is one of the millions of Americans who have fallen behind on their energy bills as prices have soared over the past year. The electricity is now back on at her home in Greenwood Lake, New York, after a local non-profit helped reach an agreement with the utility to accept a partial payment. But the gas is still off and electricity bills keep mounting this winter, leaving her in fear of another sheet off. She said she now had about $3,000 in utility debt. Dear listeners, this marks the international news. As we head for sports, let's have a short break and we'll come back with more news in sports.
listening to your best online radio station, Radio Yo, Edowozi Kusane Suwi.
Oli mufumbo, toli mufumbo, otekatika kuingira bufumbo, oba kuwasa. Eno ye program egenda okusomesa enneeyisa mu maka. Oli mukyala, oli mwami, tukuleetera abagenyi ab'enjawulo omuli abasajja n'abakazi ab'amaanyi amaze ebbanga mu bufumbo abagenda okusomesa oyige ngeri y'okukomamu obufumbo bwo n'amaka go nga matebenkevu. Buli lwa mukaaga ssawotana ez'okumakya okutuusa essa sambu ezamunegi by'emisana wano ku Radio Yo eddoboozi ly'omukisa awamu n'essuubi.
Ekiwangula omutima gw'omwagalwa tebibeera bingi ngolokose ngendo okukola giyo obulamu mukama kusaba ogende nange otali mukama.
Program omukisa gw'olunaku okuva ku zokumacha okutuusa saa 12:30 oyingire ekibuga n'omukisa. Program omukisa gw'olunaku
mukadde bulungi raba emami esaze lunaku lupya ekiro kiyise nebyakyo
Olwayi Katamba opapapapulagawo obudde buno
Muzayirooziyo ebyenfuna engeri gye bitabuseemu ensangi zino si kirungi kuwulwa ssente obulwe n'emmere mu maka ng'endamba misango kwegulira kawunga.
misango be baluwaabo era basangibwawa.
Misango Green Millers basangibwa Bukoto Kisaasi Road opposite St. Peter's Church. Bano be balina akawunga ak'omulembe akateekebwateekebwa abakugu eri omukulu omuto n'omukadde ate nga kalimu n'ekirungo ekyongera amaanyi mu mubiri gwo. Kano kali mu bipimo byonna bye walyetaaze. Ow'essomero omusuubuzi nawe kamukamu bakwaniriza ate nawe omulunzi w'enkoko ekibuuzo kyo n'essaala zo baabyanukudde anti bakolera emmere y'enkoko ey'omulembe. Enkoko zo ne zikula mu wiiki 2 abaguzi ne batandika okwetala ate nga woogula mu bungi ebyentambula baabitereeza anti ebintu bwe bakutambuliza paka mu luggya lwo. Gw'abeetaaze bakubire ku ssimu 772442 oba 7724423939. Misango Green Millers be bannantamegwa mu mmere y'enkoko kw'ossa n'akawunga ak'omulembe beekwate tojja kwejjusa.
Omuzadde kankwanjulire essomero eddungi Makerere Modern Secondary School lisangibwa Makerere Kikoni okuliraana Makerere Business Institute lya O ne A-level nga ly'abawala n'abalenzi lya Kisulo awamu n'abo abava wabweru. Tulina computer laboratory ennungi okuzaama, chemistry, physics wamu ne biology lab zirimu ebyuma byonna ebyetaagisa omuyizi okuyita obulungi. Enzikiza zonna zikkirizibwa. Tulina ino center namba abasomesa baffe batendeka okuzaama abaana basomera walungi okuzaama. Ebisale byaffe bijja mu buli nsawo ya muzadde. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubire ku 0772888884 oba 0755931200. Nziddamu 0772888884 oba 0755931200. Iye Makerere Modern Secondary School ku lw'empirizi y'omutindo.
What basic principles point out the true way? See if the spirit works, if truth is expressed.
The principles are where you learn about the principles of God. For example, redemption, Passover, feet washing, child purification, and ungodly festivals like Valentine, birthdays, last funeral rites, twin ceremonies, and many more. Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. with your host, Professor Fergus Alan Segia, live on Radio Yo.
You're listening to your best online radio station, Radio Yo, Edowozi Kusane Suwi.
Dear listeners, here, welcome back from the commercial break, and we go straight to the sports. I begin with the local sports, where Mohamed Salah was once again on the score sheets as Egypt beat holders Ivory Coast in an enthralling and action-packed quarter-final at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations (AFCON). After Omar Mamosh slaughtered the Pharaohs ahead after just 4 minutes, the North Africans were never behind in the game. But Emma's face elephants are known for their resilience and refused to let their opponents blow them away, despite Rami Rabia's head giving Egypt a 2-0 lead just after the half hour. Ahmed Fatah's own goal gave the Ivorians a hope before half-time, but Salah quickly restored a 2-goal cushion for the record 7-time winners. Galau Daouz backheld after effort after 73 minutes set up a grandstand finish, but there was to be no fair tale comeback for Ivory Coast this time around. As we continue with the local sports, AFCON 2025, how Iwobi and Ademola reconstructed Nigeria's tactical identity. As the 2025 African Cup of Nations approaches its semi-finals, a quiet revolution is unfolding within the Nigerian camp, while the world's cameras follow Victor Osimhen's relentless runs. A true story of Nigerians' red-hot form lies in the shadows of the dynamic duo. Alex Iwobi and Ademola Lookman have become the architects of a sophisticated new tactical era. As a duo has pulled the strings, many have danced, thus sailing the Super Eagles into the semi-finals. Brian Mbeumo, Cameroon offensive midfielder, leads Cameroonians for super support after AFCON 2025. The Cameroonian national footballer team was eliminated at the quarter-final stage of the ongoing AFCON 2025 tournament by the hosts Morocco. This followed a heartbreaking 0-2 defeat at a full-packed Prince Moulay Abdelaziz Stadium. Cameroon talisman Brian Teta's dog, Makio Mbeumo, 26, has since held praise to the people of Cameroon for their passionate support and cheering throughout the tournament. Dear Cameroon people, thank you for the support throughout the competition. You're singing. Your voice carried us so far. Despite the elimination, the future will only get better, he posted on his official Instagram. As we continue with more news, we take you to international sports news. In the international sports news, as Manchester United defender Diego Dalto, speaking to TNT Sports, were created enough to win the game. To be honest, this is a match for the Manchester United. Manchester United yesterday. Then the red card gave us a disadvantage because we're on top of Brighton in the last moments. Overall, very disappointed because we wanted to go through. All the lads kept trying to find space. Like I said, really disappointed because I think we deserve to win. On the discussions for international news over Brighton winning, beating Manchester United, I'm very happy, especially for me. It's the first time last season I was sick every time that we played here. I was injured. Now I think we had a good day and I really enjoyed being on the pitch. I can see the fans are enjoying themselves as well. I'm very proud of the fans and of the team today. Brighton attacker Brajan Grauda speaking to TNT. Still to continue with more sports news international. From being branded an idiot to a scoring hat-trick, Gabriel Martinelli's name has been in the headlines over the past 4 days. The Arsenal winger was heavily criticized for trying to push the injured Conor Bradley off the pitch in the closing stages of Arsenal's 0-0 draw with Liverpool on Thursday, something he apologized for on social media. But the 24-year-old's first hat-trick for Arsenal as they came from the behind to beat champions outfit Portsmouth and reach the fourth round of the FA Cup on Sunday showed personality according to his boss. It's part of the football, and then it is how you take it. Mikel Arteta, when asked how Martinelli has dealt with being the subject of so much discussion. Still in the sports news for Arsenal, Martinelli's good timing as Arsenal continues set-piece dominance. Martinelli's hat-trick was the first scored by an Arsenal player in the FA Cup since Theo Walcott did so against Southampton in January 2017. It was also his first time in 249 games for the Gunners and the first time that he has scored more than 2 goals in a game for a year. Arteta was not surprised that Martinelli, who is not known for his aerial ability, was able to score twice with his head from corners, as his timing in the box is really good. As I take you to the sports that matches played yesterday, Derby managed to score 1 goal against 3 over Leeds full time, and Portsmouth managed to score 1 goal against Arsenal, whereby Arsenal scored 4 goals, whereas as we go to Hull City, we managed to go 0-0 over Blackburn. Wherever, as we continue with more news, Norwich Football Club has managed to beat Wolseley 5-1, whereas Sheffield United scored 3-4 over Mansfield Town. Here are the matches today. Liverpool is going to play with Barnsley at 19:45, whereas in English Football League Trophy, third round, Wimbledon will play with West Ham at 19:00, and Sheffield United will play Crystal Palace 19:00. Spanish La Liga, Sevilla will play with Celta Vigo at 20:00, whereas in Italian Series A, Ganao will play with Calgary 17:30. Juventus will play with Ceremonias 19:45 in the evening. I take it to how the table is result. Whereas Arsenal is in the first position, then with 21 played matches, won 15 matches, draw 4, and still draw 4, lose 2, fouls 40, and assist 14. Whereas Manchester United, Man City is in the second position, matches played 21, won 13, draw 4. Whereas in the has lost 4 matches with 45 fouls and 19 assists. In the third position, we have Aston Villa, 21 played game matches, 13 won, 4 drawn, and 4 lose. Whereas in the foul with 33 and 13 assists. In the first position, we have Liverpool with 21 matches played, won 10, draw 5, whereas with lose 4 and foul 33 with assists 24. We take it to top scorers within this week. We have Erling Haaland, Manchester, with the team playing with Manchester City, having 20 goals, 4 assists and 21 points. Whereas in the second position, we have Igor Thiago, team Brentford, 16 goals, 1 assist, 21 points. In the third position, we have Semenyo, Bournemouth, 10 goals, 3 assists, 21 points. Lastly, in the fourth position, we have David Calvert-Lewin, with Leeds having 29 goals, 1 assist, 19 points. As we continue with more sports news, I end with the Formula 1 sports news, where the 26-year-old spent last year as a reserve driven for Ferrari after spending 3 seasons racing for the Alfa Romeo branded Sauber team from 2020 to 2024. Zhou will act as a support for race drivers Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez, both of whom are returning to the grid in 2026 after spending last year out of the sport. Bottas was Zhou's team met at Alfa Romeo. Cadillac also have on their driver roster former IndyCar driver Colton Hatter, who's racing in Formula 2 this year in attempt to earn enough license points to qualify for an F1 Formula 1 super license with a view to racing for Cadillac in the future. Dear listeners, I thank you for being good and vibrant listeners of Radio Yo. This has been the 11 o'clock news. I wish you the best of the best within this week. We shall meet tomorrow, same time, but before, let's have the greetings, send greetings to our Bishop Tom Category, who is the lead bishop here at our Church of Discipleship Ministries. I wish you the best. May God bless you. We meet tomorrow.